Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Wednesday, January the 24th. Starting off with what we were talking about earlier this morning, Danny Briere at a press conference answering questions regarding Carter Hart leaving the team and not really giving much information because he can't. There really isn't much he can say, and you could tell he wanted to say more. Basically, that he's looking for guidance from the league on what they can and can't say and all that. And up until then, you're going to have your legal team saying, "Don't say anything." So Hart's on leave. He did say, yeah, Hart was playing well, and that's basically where we're at. Hart was playing well. He believes in Sam Ersson. There's not much else he's gonna like. He's not gonna come out and say he doesn't believe in Sam Ersson. I'm not saying he's wrong to believe in Sam Ersson either, because yeah, Ersson's played well this year. But they've got Peterson called up now to be the backup. So for Danny Briere, he's going to do his best now that this press conference is done to get back to business as usual. It's not going to be easy. And then the New Jersey Devils, that fourth and fifth name, at least there are now five names, and whether it's just the five, we'll see. Like we'll see if other players end up on leave or anything else happens. But Michael McLeod and Cal Foote are on leave from the Devils, and it's an indefinite leave of absence. The wording of this almost identical to Dylan Dubé, to Carter Hart, and of course Alex Formenton being on leave from his team in Europe. That's five players. So we'll see what happens. Rick Westhead saying that he's dug into it, and usually when people are told they have a deadline to report to the police, it's normally a week, maybe 2 weeks. So I would think that the players involved would turn themselves in sooner rather than later. There's really not much point in delaying, but again, it's a developing story. We shall see. So with McLeod and Foote gone from the team, one positive right now with New Jersey is Andre Palat seems to be ready to return, telling reporters he should be good to go for Thursday's game. So again, those are your five names. We'll see where that goes. All right. In other news today, Peter Mrazek has signed an extension with the Chicago Blackhawks, the team that I really think's turned his career around, and he said saved his career. It's a 2-year deal worth $4.25 million per season. So again, a player that the Hawks could have rented out at the deadline. They decided to keep him instead. And his numbers are good this year. 12-17-1 is his record. Considering the overall record for Chicago, 12-17-1 is respectable. 907 save percentage. And again, considering the defense in front of him, that 907 save percentage is kind of fantastic. So Mrazek deciding to stay in Chicago. You got Foligno, Dickinson staying in Chicago. I guess we won't be talking about the rentals at the deadline. It looks like they're ready to just lock everybody down. So, yeah, I think it's the right move for both Mrazek and the Hawks. I think he's playing some of the best hockey he has. I want to say back to when he was a Red Wing. Back that far. The last time I can remember Mrazek playing as well as he has as a Chicago Blackhawk. So, Ottawa. They have won 3 of their last 4. They're sitting 16 points out of the playoffs. And so you're in a position now where it seems like Jacques Martin's got them playing the right way. They're playing so much better than they were before. It doesn't even look like the same team on the ice. However, do you sell at the deadline? And so there's a lot of discussions about whether or not Chychrun could be on the move. Now remember, last year at the deadline, Pierre Dorion went out of his way to make sure he gets Chychrun and sold them on the idea of Chychrun. And he's been very good. But this is a team that has a lot of pretty solid defensemen, and I could see them trying to move Chychrun. Chychrun, on the other hand, when those rumors were basically brought to him, he has publicly stated he wants to stay in Ottawa. He has no idea where the rumors are coming from. He has no intention of leaving the Ottawa Senators. And you got to be careful if you're Ottawa. You got to be careful because you're a team that's at or near the bottom of the league, and you want to make sure that players want to come and play for your team. So this is one of those situations where if you get a reputation with players talk to one another, and if they're like, yeah, you don't want to go play there, it can be difficult to attract players and to get that reputation turned around. Winning does go a long way towards making people want to go play for you, though. So if Ottawa wins a bunch of games between now and the trade deadline, they could put themselves in a position where maybe they don't want to sell. So we'll see what Steve Staios does and what the plan is, but it definitely looks like Chychrun could be on his way out. Shabbat's name's been out there too in rumors I've seen. I just don't really get into the rumor side of it. The only reason I'm mentioning Chychrun is because it has reached the mainstream level, and he has addressed it and saying he wants to stay in Ottawa. And I think for the Sens, it's important to have players that want to play there. I've never understood trying to trade a guy just because, well, we could get an asset. But if he wants to be there, find a way to keep him around. Now, this is also big news today, and I thought about doing a video on this just in and of itself, but I thought, no, I'll put it into the news of the day, and then we'll see if anything happens over the next couple of weeks that's going to change things. So, the Arizona Coyotes. And I'm mentioning the Arizona Coyotes because this has always been sort of the speculation in media circles. The Arizona Coyotes should have an announcement this month regarding their new building. I would not be surprised if it's over All-Star Weekend. I would not be surprised if it's while I'm down in California, and if it happens while I'm in California, I'll take my phone out, I'll make a video, and I'll upload it to the channel saying, congratulations to the Coyotes, I'm figuring this out. I may even bring a Coyotes jersey with me down to California, just in case. But it's been speculated that the NHL doesn't want to get into the expansion process until the Arizona situation of finding them a building has been really and truly resolved in their eyes. And so, in this case, Arizona will be building the arena with their own money. There's no public money that would be involved. Why do I mention this? Because Utah is now pushing for the expansion process to ramp up. Now, what's interesting is Salt Lake City has been seen as maybe the backup if things don't work out with the Coyotes. So, if they don't find the building, maybe we just end up going to Salt Lake City. And again, it's been widely speculative, and all the speculation being as it is, but it just feels like, yeah, that could make some sense. A team in Utah could fit into the Central, right? Salt Lake City would absolutely work in the Central, so you're not needing to move teams around. So, for instance, if the Quebec crowd got their wishes and you move a team from Arizona to Quebec, well, now you're going to have to move teams around in divisions because Quebec can't be in the Central. So, Utah coming out and saying publicly, hey, we want an expansion. We want an expansion team. So the parent company of the Utah Jazz has requested that the NHL open the expansion process. The reason I find this endlessly fascinating is Salt Lake City has already been talking to the NHL about this process. So does this mean that the owners of the Jazz are not happy with how slow the process is going? Maybe they feel like they can juice things along a little bit by, hey NHL, expansion process, let's go. So they also acknowledge they're going to build a new arena because basketball and hockey, the sight lines are completely different. The arenas don't necessarily work for both sports. There are exceptions in the National Hockey League, but those are truly the exceptions. And the building currently occupied by the Utah Jazz wouldn't work for a Utah hockey team. So I do find this interesting because I think the NHL has this process in place where they want to have Arizona settled first and then they're going to expand. Remember, Gary Bettman hasn't said they're not going to expand, just we're not expanding right now. We're not in that process right now. So, for instance, if Yvonne said to me, are we getting divorced? If I said, not right now, she would have some questions. So it's not a no is what I'm saying. And the answer to that would be no. But yeah, it's one of those things that it feels like it's going to happen. We're going to get a team in Salt Lake City. Houston's been very much hopeful for a team, but they're not pushing this hard. We have not seen Houston come out and say, so NHL team now? And that basically seems to be the kind of idea here with Utah, is pushing the NHL towards the expansion process. I still think the expansion would probably be around 2030. Like, not soon. This is not a league that I think is looking to expand soon. But at some point, do I think it happens? Yeah, the NHL and the NHL owners like to have money. The NHLPA would be perfectly fine with expanding the union. And for all the discussions about watering down the product, I have heard that discussion since 1990 when the San Jose Sharks were coming into the league and all the complaining about how that was going to water down the league because WHA expansion had already watered down the league, thus the WHA jersey. This is the LA Sharks. So I got this yesterday. I figured, I might as well wear it in the video today. So we'll see if they end up going to Utah and what things look like if that happens. Let me know your thoughts regarding, and I know there are people who are absolutely opposed to expansion, but it's going to happen. I really believe it's going to happen. I think it's just a matter of when. Because when somebody says we haven't opened that process right now, we're not in that process right now, they're going to expand. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And the one question I have with this is the NHL has answered basically with, we know it's a good market. We know it's a good market, and we believe in hockey there. But the NHL before has gotten kind of ticked off when they're pushed. Jim Balsley, of course, famously tried to get teams into Hamilton a couple of times, and the NHL made it pretty clear that they were going to Livingstone them. And that's basically what happened. Balsley never got a chance to actually own an NHL team, in part because the NHL didn't like how he was going about it. He was going to just buy a team and move it. That's not how it works. He was just going to buy, I'm going to buy Nashville and move them. No, you're not. I'm going to buy Pittsburgh and move them. No, you're not. I'm going to buy Arizona and move them. No, you're not. So we'll see. We'll see if this is different, of course, because this is a team just saying, can we have an expansion now? How about expansion now? Is this going to irritate the Board of Governors? Is this something that, because while we talk about Bettman a lot, if the Board of Governors get irritated with this expansion demand, then it's not going to happen because the Board of Governors has to approve expansion. I'm sure if they get irritated, you could still say, but money, and then they would go, okay, and rubber stamp, but we'll see. Mark Scheifele, Gabriel Vilardi are to miss the game tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is great news for Toronto. Scheifele, an excellent forward, and Vilardi really honestly has fit in better, I think, with the Jets than he did with the Kings. So we'll see how the Jets do tonight minus both players. And of course, the Jets should be looking for a bit of a bounce back after a night against Boston where they allowed 4 goals. The very rare night that they've allowed 4 goals this year. Cole Smith has signed an extension with the Nashville Predators. It is a 2-year extension worth $1 million per season. So, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you've not done so already. And, yeah, let me know if you think that, them coming out and saying, hey, open the expansion process. Does that make the NHL more, less likely to want to go there right away, or does it not have any effect? Are they going to be like, forget it. It's fine. It's fine. They're just blowing smoke. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always, and I will talk to you again soon.